toughest 48 hours that I've ever had to endure in this market, and I'm sure it's hard for all of you as well. But I'm going to be here for you guys in the good times and the bad times. Today certainly isn't easy. So let's break down what happened in the market. Let's break down where I think things are going in the future and what my plan is to combat this market, because it is very tough out there. And I think it's important for me to come on and address things head on, be totally honest and transparent with you guys about what happened to me and about what I think is going to happen to the market overall. Let's get straight into the show. Today's show's honest, today's show's raw, today's show will be going over everything that I'm thinking at the moment in terms of this market. And just to get a bit of macro perspective, we have to look at the Bitcoin chart right now. The Bitcoin chart right now has broken the 29K region of support. So I said in yesterday's show that 29 to 30K was that region that we don't want to break. If we did break it, we can expect to head lower to around the 24K region. Right now, we have broken through, so I'm expecting a push down to the 24K region. There is a chance that we bounce here temporarily because the market is capitulating. The sentiment is so bad. Usually after we get a massive drop like this, we do get a relief rally. But unless we can reclaim that 29K region, it's very likely we do go down to 24K according to technical analysis. The market has not liked this news at all. The market is responding very negatively. We have altcoins down 20, 30, 40% today. Obviously, Luna, which I'll get to, which is a main focus of this show, that's down around 98%. But some of these other coins are getting smacked as well. We're seeing major drawdowns from projects that we love, like Avalanche, minus 30%, Solana, minus 22%. It really is a bloodbath. And this is honestly the toughest day that I've had in my crypto career. It's even tougher than the 2020 crash. It has been even tougher than 2017. I would put this right up there with one of the worst days in crypto. It certainly is a dark day, and it does have ramifications for the rest of the market. There are also some positives that I'm taking out of this market right now, which I'll go over with you guys. But I just want to say that I'm feeling your pain right now. I certainly am, and it's been very difficult. What actually kickstarted this drop? Well, obviously it was Luna. It was the Luna price taking an absolute dump on the back of UST losing peg. Now, I'll give you a quick update on what happened with UST. I've covered this twice already this week, but I want to go through for the people that aren't quite aware what actually happened to UST and subsequently what happened to Luna to cause the Luna price get rugged. I have never seen this in the history of crypto, a top 10 protocol with a $40 billion market cap going from 40 billion to a billion. That is almost unheard of. That is just crazy to me. It's unfathomable. But there's a reason it happened, and a very good reason indeed. And that's because UST has lost complete trust amongst the community. And this is my take on what happened. This is a very short version on what I think happened. But I think it was exactly this. So it was a coordinated attack with the sole purpose of destroying the peg. So you had these big players, these big whales coming in with the sole purpose of destroying this peg. They wanted to take UST down because they had a huge short interest in UST losing its peg. That caused the FUD starting to spread on Twitter. So we saw the curve pool get drained, and then we saw the FUD really starting to take off across the Twitter market. We saw everyone on Twitter basically capitulating, and for good reason, because UST was going fast. It went from $1 down to 90 cents, down to 62 cents, and it bounced up and down. It was ranging, but at the end of the day, the FUD was getting real, and that caused a lot of people to panic out of UST. And the ones that got out early, they were able to sabotage a large percentage of their UST holdings. The people that got out a bit later obviously took a big loss, and people were panicking out of UST, and that caused a liquidation cascade on Luna. That caused a massive liquidation cascade because a lot of people who had their Luna staked in Anchor Protocol actually were starting to get liquidated. And on the other hand, the Luna supply was being flooded onto the market because obviously UST was decreasing in supply. And as we know, the way UST keeps peg is by using Luna as its mechanism to maintain an arbitrage. So more Luna tokens were put onto the market. In fact, more Luna tokens were put onto the market than we've seen in a month. So a month of supply burn, which was causing the price to rally to 125. That month of good work was removed in a single day with 25 million Luna coming onto the market. And we're now seeing LFG respond with more Luna dilution, which is further diluting the Luna price, hence why the Luna price is now $1, which is shocking to me. But there's a couple reasons why this happened. Firstly, This is one of the major things that impacted the market, and that was the Luna Foundation guards selling their Bitcoin. They said that they were loaning it out to market makers. There's strong evidence that they were selling some Bitcoin in order to keep up the UST peg. So they wanted to come in, underpin, counteract the shorts by using their Bitcoin as support for the UST peg to put in buy orders and boost that UST peg back up to $1. And that's why we had this kind of dump in LFG's holdings that you see from Will Clemente here. But there's a lot of speculation as to who actually caused this dump, who caused it. And there was a little bit of a screenshot flooding around saying that BlackRock and Citadel borrowed 100K from Gemini, swapped 25K of it from Bitcoin into UST in anticipation of the attack, and then dumped UST on the market, essentially taking advantage of the fragility of the peg. Now, Rand reached out to Citadel, and they gave him an official statement. They said Citadel Securities does not trade stablecoins, including UST. So Rand said, after my show today, where I discussed the rumors that Citadel was involved in the attack, I was contacted by Citadel and they denied having any involvement. So we're not quite sure exactly who the players are in terms of the ones that caused this cascade, but there are some rumors that it's Citadel. Obviously, I don't think it is now because they came out and officially said that they weren't involved, but it is something to keep note of. I did a tweet as well, and I said that it was a coordinated attack. I fully believe this. We're at the stage of this market now where these big players that we have from the stock market, these traditional hedge fund guys with multi-billion dollar portfolios, they now have a significant sway over crypto. We're little fish compared to them. The market is extremely small compared to these big players, and they can come with their traditional finance money and bully participants in the crypto market because of the size discrepancy between the two markets. And I truly believe we are seeing that now. We are seeing market manipulation at its highest, maybe possibly the highest it's ever been. And Alex Becker did a tweet on this saying he was 98% sure it was coordinated by big money, and they literally found a short long machine. And he said that it was pure evil. And On-Chain Wizard also went through some of the statistics, some of the wallet addresses to suggest that's the case as well. But obviously, it has been a very, very tough day overall. And I want to kind of give you my thoughts on this and give you my thoughts on how this impacts the market. Obviously, this has major impacts. We're seeing that right now. But there's a few things that I do want to address. The first thing I want to address is that I don't blame Kwon. I really respect visionaries in this space. It takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of guts and tremendous courage to be a leader in this space. Yes, Kwon was overly bullish. Yes, he revealed his cards too early. I truly believe that if Terra kept their Bitcoin monetary reserves under wraps, didn't tell people that they were buying Bitcoin, and then used it quietly to underpin the peg, then they would have been in a much better position. You don't want to reveal your cards too early. Potentially a mistake that the Terra Foundation made. Everyone makes mistakes. We're human. And although Kwon was overly bullish, I've got to respect the guy and respect what he's done. Now, I know it's difficult to say in times like this, but I don't blame him. What I do blame, however, and it's not necessarily a blame, more of as it is an observation, but I believe that the Luna tech simply wasn't ready. This market is in its infancy. UST grew so quick. UST grew to a market cap of 18 billion, quicker than we've ever seen a stablecoin grow before in the history of crypto. When something grows that fast and it is such a young technology, it's unproven, which means that the tech simply may not have been up to scratch to underpin the severe amount of trade volume that was coming in to this market. So it's very, very hard for someone like Kwon to navigate a market that is in its infancy, that's so young. Luna simply wasn't ready. It wasn't ready to handle this, and it wasn't as well thought out as we thought it was. And that's one of the major reasons why this happened. Now, I want to tell you my story. I want to tell you the story of how I got liquidated on my Luna position. And I want to be raw and honest with you for a second and kind of talk to you guys about my place as a content creator, my role, the mistakes I've made, and what my goal is being in this position. So I did get liquidated on a large portion of my Luna. Of course, Luna's not worth much now, so it doesn't really matter anymore, unfortunately. It hurts me to say, but I did get liquidated on my Luna, and I took a major hit on my position. I did take some profits, but I took nowhere near enough. I was overly bullish at the top. I think everyone was. I don't think anyone could really foresee this happen. And as content creators, we always do our best to try and evaluate the market based on the best information we have at the time. All I can do is evaluate the market based on what I see, based on the data that I'm evaluating. Now, when I was evaluating the risk reward of Luna, it was very inconceivable that a DPEG event this large could occur, especially with the monetary reserves coming into back it. So it was very difficult for anyone to see this. Most of the top traders, most of the top guys, hedge funds, VCs, like Luna has major backers. Most of them did not see this happening. And I'm sure you guys didn't as well. And that just goes to emphasize that this can happen at any time. Crypto is not a super developed market. Unfortunately, this can happen even to our favorite projects. And it was a real reminder for myself personally, and I'm sure it's a reminder to you, that we have to stay pragmatic in this market. We can't get complacent. And at the top, you have to take profits when the market is pumping. And I always preach keeping some dry powder in stablecoins, but maybe I wasn't making that evident enough. And I'll never make that mistake again, because we have to be taking profits in this market. I didn't see this event coming. I talked about Luna on the show yesterday. I talked about UST. I've been talking about Luna and UST for a while. And the reason I did that, and the reason Rand did that, and we all did that, is because we genuinely believe in the ecosystem. I genuinely believed in Terra. I believed in the vision. And unfortunately, it didn't pan out. I believed in Terraform Labs. I believed in Kwon, and that belief wasn't repaid, unfortunately. But I want to educate in this market. My goal is to educate. It's not to shill. It's not to shoot you a token. It's not to make crazy calls. In fact, in this market, I'm not interested in giving you guys crazy calls, because this isn't the market to make them. I want to make these 20 minutes the most valuable 20 minutes of your day. Whatever way I can make that valuable, I will. And my goal now is to educate, keep you updated with what I'm looking at in terms of my strategies, keep you updated with what I'm seeing on the market. Will I get everything right? No, we can't. We're human. But I'll promise you this. I'll do my absolute best to navigate you guys through this market. And I'll be here every single day to try and help you guys out, because it is an extremely difficult time. And I want to help navigate you guys through these volatile times, because this isn't anything like we've seen before. This isn't 2017. This isn't 2018. We're a much more mature market now, with a lot more big players in the industry, and we're a lot bigger than we used to be. So we have to treat the game differently now. Now, I've been plugging my Instagram on the shows, but that is for good reason, because this morning I actually went live and I discussed all this on my Insta as it was happening, because the shows every day are great for educating, but my Instagram can give you that quicker form content. If something happens, I can go on and do a live. So I highly recommend following me over there, because if you guys truly want to be on this journey with me and we truly want to succeed in this industry, then you need to be educating yourself. And one of the ways we can do that is by having constructive conversations on YouTube as well as my Instagram. So there's a link in the description to that. Come and follow my Instagram. I've been following 10 people every single day that follow me on Instagram, and I do live streams every day over there. So you don't want to miss out on that, because I think it's very valuable to come and have a chat to you guys there. Okay, let's talk a few strategies now. Let's talk my mindset. I think mindset right now is the most important thing in crypto. This is the mindset that's going to get us through the next few months. This is the mindset that can make you life-changing money. And this is kind of how I am viewing this latest dip, because obviously it was very tough. A lot of us have lost a lot of money, and I'm kind of framing it in this way. So some people do a college degree for $40,000 a year. Some people spend $10,000 on online courses. Some people spend $5,000 on a traineeship. I am viewing the losses that we have taken in this market as a sunk cost that is going directly towards our education. Crypto is giving you the best education of anything I have ever experienced in my life. Speaking from someone that is full-time in the industry, that's built a career in crypto, I can promise you this: in no other industry, you can learn about finance, human emotion, fear, greed, risk management at such a far pace. So any amount of money that you've lost, view that as a learning experience. I know it's difficult, but if you can view it as the experience of a lifetime, lessons of a lifetime, you can take those learnings and you can apply it to any walk of life, which I think is so valuable, because the experience that we are gaining in this market is not just setting us up to be better traders, it's setting us up to be better humans. It's setting us up to be better businessmen and businesswomen. It's setting us up for a better future. So any losses that you take, try and learn from them. I learned many things of my Luna losses, and I'm trying to apply them to my life to become better. And now is actually the time to build. A bear market is the time to build. Build and contribute to projects. Build income streams. Build a winning strategy. Build relationships in the space. Your hard work will be rewarded. Just stick to the process. I can't stress this enough. If there's one thing you take away from this video, it's this. The bear market is the time where you have to do your hardest work. The bear market is the time where you are building projects, income streams, strategies, because the ones that are around when the market is low are the ones that benefit tenfold. Why do you think Ran is so successful in this market? He's so successful because he got in early and he was buying and getting into ICOs when no one else was. 2017, 2018, when no one wanted a bar of these tokens, he was picking them up. That is why he's been successful in the market. Why do you think people that got in so early in 2018, 2019, when the market was bearish, is so successful? Why do you think that I was successful with my trades from 2019 and 2020? Because it was a bearish market, and those are the times where the millionaires are created. Now, I know it's difficult. Losing money, it is difficult. Like, I'm feeling that today, guys. Trust me, I woke up quite upset about the situation in the market. But at the same time, this is a massive opportunity. And these next months, years, however long it is a massive, massive opportunity. You have to be building, and your focus should be on building a career and building a winning portfolio that can sustain you up for generational wealth. And I believe that this may be one of the last chances these next few years to do that. And you don't want to miss out on it. You really, really don't. Because in a few years, you'll look back and you'll say, wow, I lost interest in crypto because the market was going down. But if I had just paid attention during that time, imagine what I could have built. Don't be one of those people. Now, I do use DeFi Llama. I use TVL to evaluate market sentiment. So I want to give you a bigger picture of where I think we're sitting right now so I can show you where we're going and what needs to happen for us to hit higher levels. TVL's plummeting. We've seen multiple chains get wrecked. TVL's down 17% for a day. There is a risk-off approach now coming into DeFi. A lot of people pulled out of Anchor, which is understandable. Most of these protocols are down 50, 60, 70% for the month, which is a major drawdown. Phantom down 58%, Polygon 27%, Solana 39%. So we are seeing massive pullbacks, but I think I learned a major, major lesson from the events of the last couple of days relative to DeFi. And that is short term, this is terrible. Short term, what is happening to the market right now is very hard to stomach. But long term, it's doing one thing that I think is positive, and that is it's paving the way for regulation. If I take anything out of the events of the last few days, it's that we need regulation to pave the way forward for crypto. We cannot shy away from regulation any longer. We need it. The whales that are manipulating the market, the amount of damage that's being done on exploits, the amount of damage that's being done in terms of not being able to get major institutions in and players into the market because of the lack of regulation leads me to believe that we need it. And if it wasn't clear before, it's clear now. We need this market to be regulated, and it's happening. I truly believe in the next couple of years, we'll have some positive announcements regarding regulation. There'll probably be some negativity as well, like we saw with the Europe regulation news with MetaMask, but we have to take it all in our stride, because if we want crypto to be a legitimate industry that's up there with the stock market, like I think it will be, then it's something you simply need. Now, just a reminder, just a bit of perspective, not all coins are here to stay. And I think this was the other major lesson that I learned from what unfolded over the last couple of days. And that is not every coin that you're buying right now, or not every coin in the top 20 that's around today will be in 5 or 6 years. And I think the mistake a lot of us have made is holding onto a lot of these altcoins, accumulating a lot of these altcoins that are extremely risky with too large of a percentage in our portfolios. Now, I've been tweaking my portfolio over the last few months to be heavily skewed towards Bitcoin. I said earlier in the year I didn't own any Bitcoin. I can now tell you that Bitcoin is by far my biggest holding. I've been accumulating a lot of Bitcoin, and I've been selling off some of my other holdings. Not yesterday, of course, because I don't really believe in selling into that kind of panic, but I was selling off some of my holdings a bit earlier. And that is because I'm trying to strike a better balance in terms of risk reward. Because when we look at the market caps, this is the snapshot from 2018. Bitcoin and Ethereum are basically the only two that have proven themselves over the past few years. Now, ADA doesn't really have much to show for it. XRP has a lot of regulatory issues. So if we look at the history of crypto, Bitcoin and Ethereum, in my opinion, are the only two that have been there and thus are likely to still be there. Here's the thing. The market's a lot more mature than it is now. The market has more utility than it is now. So when we look at this top 20 snapshot from back in 2018, it's not entirely relevant because a lot of the coins that are on this list didn't have utility. Whereas we look at the coins on this list right now, and we've got BNB with an amazing DeFi ecosystem, Solana with its NFT ecosystem, Dogecoin, all right, doesn't really have much, but Polkadot has its parachain auctions and very, very promising tech. Whereas back then, we didn't really have much to show from the market. So as time goes on, the top 20 becomes less and less and less likely to change. However, we still have to be aware of the fact it can. And what that's taught me over the past few weeks is that our primary goal should be stacking Bitcoin and Ethereum, using the altcoins, obviously stacking the altcoins, but using them as a tool to stack more Bitcoin, and then using the altcoins as a smaller percentage of our portfolios. There is nothing wrong with holding coins like Phantom, Luna, Solana, AVAX. I hold them. I stack them. I accumulate them. I farm them. But it has to be adequately weighted based on your risk tolerance and risk management. If you have 50% in these L1s or you have 50% in gaming coins, maybe that's a sign your portfolio is a little too risky. Maybe you have to prioritize accumulating some of the projects we know will be around in 5 years. Because I have no doubt in my mind that Bitcoin is hitting 500,000, a million plus over the next couple decades. But in the meantime, you have to make sure you're building towards your final goal and not getting wrecked. Because it would suck for you to miss out on a $500,000 Bitcoin because you kept wrecking yourself over and over and over and over in the meantime, and you missed out on the chance to actually accumulate Bitcoin. If that's your focus, make it your focus. And I woke up today and I felt pretty dejected. I haven't felt like that in a long time. I try not to let this market control my emotions. And I've been pretty good with it throughout the last couple of years. I try to be very pragmatic, very analytical. That's how I like to operate. But this morning, I did feel dejected. Seeing some of the messages in my Twitter about people that lost their life savings, people that's wife left them, even friends that were committing suicide, that was shocking to me. And that was very upsetting to me as a content creator. But then I spent a few hours analyzing the market and my mistakes and what went wrong. And now I've got this fire in my belly that I've never had before. I've got this want, this desire to succeed in this market. Now, I would already consider myself having succeeded in this market, but succeeding is a spectrum. I want to truly, truly succeed in this market. And success isn't just monetary for me. Success is changing people's lives. Success is succeeding as an educator. That is what I view as success. I want to build projects. I want to work with projects. I want to build the future of the space. So if this market goes lower, I'm just going to work harder. Join me. Join me on this journey. The lower the market goes, the lower we're going to work and the more reward we are going to get. But this can only be done if you dedicate yourself to working hard. If you're not willing to work hard, don't watch another video. If you're not willing to put in the time to set yourself up for financial freedom, please unsubscribe right now. I want the people here that are willing to work hard with me and pave the way for financial freedom in the future. And if you're willing to do that with me, I'm going to give you everything I've got to help you get there. And I can promise you that. Now, you guys probably have a lot of questions. You probably have a lot of things that you want to know in the market right now. And I do want to answer those questions. So I'm going to do it on my Instagram right now. In around 1 minute, I'm going to be going live on my Instagram after I end this stream. And I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on the market in a Q&A form. So if you have any questions that arose from watching this video, then make sure to ask them on my Instagram. And of course, I'm following people back that follow me on my Instagram today once again, because I want to support my true fans and my true supporters. All right. I'll see you over there for a Q&A. Peace out.